again. Um, so again to everyone, you might not know me. My name is Chief Uzal Ben Levi. Um, I'm glad to bring this this forum to all of you, hoping and praying that the Most High God be with us all, bless and protect us, guide us, keep us safe, keep us in the path of righteousness. We ask that the Most High God continue to be with our people that are destitute, the the ones who are downtrodden, all our people that need prayer, hoping and praying that the Most High God be with you all, that He'll protect you and be with you. Tonight we are going to we're going to speak about the journey, our first journey into the nation of Israel as a people. As we journeyed through the wilderness for 40 years, the Most High God once again allowed us to return into the nation, or let us get into the nation that He promised our fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's a At this point in history, our our great father Moses is it's already has passed away. He he was so told to go into the mountain and basically give up the ghost, but his natural strength had not abated him, not left him, and he was still very strong in all the things that he was still very strong. So we see that the Most High God here, He's exalting um, the general, as we call him, the general of Israel, even Moses, Joshua. I mean, Joshua was also a prophet of the Lord, and He's exalting him in the eyes of the people, so that the people would see that Joshua was now in charge. Remember, the children of Israel was a very, very tough people to deal with. So Joshua was told by the Most High God to be courageous, to have a strong mind, to deal with these people, and not to deviate from the law, statutes, and commandments that Yahweh had given him through the prophet Moses. So as we will begin to pick up in a minute, once again, I'm praying for everyone's well-being. Also, sending out a prayer to to the family of the police officer that was slain here in New York City this past week. Senseless crime. The man, he was just doing his job. 33 years old. Leaves behind family, loved ones. It's just senseless. Our youth has to learn that um, life is precious, and to take someone's life, the laws of the Most High God tell us that when you take someone's life, that your life should be taken. If it's a murder, or if it's something that didn't deserve or didn't warrant a person losing their lives. So on this day, I hope and pray that the Most High God will have mercy upon all of us, that He will hear our cries, and He will hear even the cries of that family, and that He will ease their pain. He just went out to do His job that night. I know at times our communities have issues with police officers because of the transgressions of some, not all. I don't think all police officers are bad, but I think it's a lack of training. It's a lack of of essential people skills that you need to deal with people. Because you need that. You need people skill to deal with people, and to be able to to interact with the population. Unfortunately, some of them have not learned that, and hopefully it will be a learning process. But not to get off the topic, just our um, heartfelt condolences to that family. Also with the Levy family for their recent loss. Our brother Rockley Ben Levy, Ben Cohen Levy, who passed away. Um, Hoping and praying that the Most High God be with that family and protect them and keep them. Um, we we ask the Most High God to be with us, even in these in our days of sorrow and pain, because when one of us is hurt, and we all should be hurt. So he was put away this past Monday, um, Rosedale Cemetery in New Jersey. So we hope and pray that the Most High God be with that family once again, and protects them and just guides them. All right. Shabbat Shalom, fam. Marshall Reed. Glad that you're here with us today. We thank the Most High God for your life, and we hope that the Most High God be with you, continue to be with you, and be with your family. So like I said, the name of this talk tonight is called Our First Journey into the Land of Israel. On the what do you call it, description on the bottom of the screen, there's a link to maps of basically what we're going to be talking about, the city of Jericho, and our first entering into the land of Canaan, formerly known as the land of Canaan, now known as the land of Israel. So you could get to see those maps down there, and we encourage you to take a look at it whenever you get a chance. Um, I've gotten a commitment from our brother Chief Benjamin. He it seems like he's gonna join us on Friday nights. Now that the sun is going down much more earlier, he made a commitment to join me some Friday nights, and that should be a real enlightening thing to have him come on with us and to join us and to get some of that wisdom and understanding that brother has. Shabbat Shalom, Dina Yisrael. I'm glad to see you in the room. Say shalom to my little man over there, Kayim. Hope he's listening. If not, he's probably sleeping with his belly full from eating his Shabbat meal. So once again, I pray for all of us that are here, all of us that are in the room. Hope that the Most High God be with us all. He continue to protect us. He continue to bless us. Now, at this point in history, the prophet Moses is told to go into the mountain and to die, because like from what happened from when Moses did not sanctify the name of the Most High from him and Aaron, when the Most High commanded him to go speak to the rock, and he struck the rock and didn't separate his name from the Most High. That caused Moses, because of his anger, it caused Moses not to go into the land. And the Most High caused Moses to see the land, but he was not able to go and proceed into the land and take part in the division of land and so forth and so on. So now at this point, Joshua has taken over. The people are have gone through a 30-day mourning period for the prophet, for Moses, for our great father, and now we are at the point where we are recovering from the death of Moses, and now the Most High is putting things into perspective and what we should do. And Moses and Joshua begins to take over. So now we're going to begin from the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 1. I'm reading um, from the Reuben edition of the book of Joshua, the prophets. All right, these books right here. This is for studying purposes. This is only the book of Joshua. They sell it in volumes. Each prophet. It's called the Reuben edition. It has a lot of commentary. And the thing with commentary is some commentary you could take it. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Ashriel Levi. May the Most High God be with you and bless you. So the thing with commentary is some commentary is really good. Some commentary is like way out there, but it's like everything else. It's like when you're eating a piece of chicken, you pick out the bone, you pick out the little veins, you pick out the blood. You become a picky eater. So it is with these books. A lot of times, some of the things they're saying are good things to take a hold of, but then on other times, it's things that we could do away with. But those of us that have enough understanding know what to consume and what not to consume. So it is with teachers. We were always taught by our teachers that the Torah was the most essential and most important part that we needed in order to live life. The prophets and the writings and all the sayings and all those things, those weren't the things that would carry us in life, but the Torah would be. There are a lot of people that do go out there and take hold of other books, and it's nothing wrong with learning. It's nothing wrong with gaining wisdom and knowledge. But the thing is, the dangerous part is when you start to incorporate that into the laws of God, or you try to make it the laws of God, and then you start teaching it to people as if it's the laws of God, and then that's when we begin to get in trouble with the Creator, because the Most High God tells us not to add unto His word and not to diminish aught from it. So we have to be careful when we learn from other books what it is that we're feeding the people, because it will be that easy to lead people astray. All right. Shabbat Shalom, Sharon Murray. Good to see you in the building. May the Most High God bless you. So, like I said, we're going to go into the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 1. And like I said, I'm reading from the Reuben edition of this is like the Chumash and all that they put together. Well, this series is called the Prophets. This is Joshua and Judges. Joshua and Judges. So I want to read from this. We start from Joshua, the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 1. It happened after the death of Moses, servant of Yahweh, that Yahweh said to Joshua, son of Nun, Moses' attendant, saying, Moses, my servant, has died. Now arise, cross this Jordan, you and this entire people, to the land that I give to them, to the children of Israel. Every place upon which the sole of your foot will tread, I will give to you, as I spoke to Moses. From the desert and this Lebanon unto the great river, the Euphrates River, all the land of the Hittites unto the great sea, toward the setting of the sun, will be your boundary. So, here we see a couple of things. Said it happened after the death of Moses, servant of the Most High. Now, the word that he used there is for servant is eved, right? Now, eved is a slave, and when we think about a slave, we think about a degrading job, a low position. But now Moses was called the servant, the slave of the Most High, and that automatically elevated him to the highest position that any man can have on this earth. Moses. Now think about it. Think about the contrast. When we think about a slave is someone who's basically in a lower state, you know, when we look at it in humanly form. But now when we become servants of the Most High, we rise to the highest position of any person on earth, being the servant or being the slave of the Most High God. So Moses was in a great position. Um, Shabbat Shalom, Shem Yisrael. So now we go into, it says, and Yahweh said to Joshua, son of Nun, Moses' attendant, Mishareh, he was servant, attendant to Moses. He was always there for his beckon and call. We're talking about the great man, even the prophet Joshua. Moses, my servant, has died. So the Most High is indicating to Joshua that, Moses is already gone, and now arise, cross this Jordan, you and this entire people, to the land that I give to them, to the children of Israel. So now, every place upon which the sole of your foot would tread, I have given to you, as I spoke to Moses. So that's also was the promise that was made to Abraham. When the Most High God told Abraham that every place that the sole of his foot would touch, that would become his and his people. So we begin to see that what the Most High God promised to our great father Abraham, then he passed it down to Isaac and to Jacob. This is beginning to come into fruition now, because they are right at the doorstep, at the threshing floor to enter the land. All they have to do is cross the river Jordan at this point. So now, these things, these words, the prophecy, these things are coming to pass. The Most High also promised it to Moses. So now it's becoming tangible. It's not just a tradition that was passed down from generation to generation. Now the tradition or the saying has become tangible, because they could grasp it. They're right at the doorsteps of the land of Canaan, also, later known as the land of Israel. So now they're knocking at the door, they're right there, and the people, I could imagine, have to be feeling joyous at this time and have to be feeling really happy, because for 400 years in Egypt and 40 years in the wilderness of not having a place that they could call home or a stationary place, living as nomads, that now you see the how do you say it? You see the blessing of hope, because now you're gonna have land. You're gonna have places that you're gonna be able to live and put your cattle and not worry about certain things, because now you're gonna have stability. So the Most High God is gonna begin to bless them, and they could see the blessing, and it's right before their eyes. We're gonna go into verse 4. From the desert and this Lebanon to the great river, the Euphrates River, all the land of the Hittites unto the great sea, which is the Mediterranean Sea, towards the setting of the sun, will be your boundary towards the setting of the sun. Because now, right now, they're east of the great sea. They're by the Jordan. They're going west. They're heading west into the land. So like I said, I have the maps of ancient Israel in the description. So now they're heading west, and they're going to have all that, what they call the Mediterranean coast, all those places, and all the land as it's described here. And like I said, down in the description there's a link so you can see maps. I got it straight out of Google. It's plenty of maps. You just have to put in ancient maps of Israel, and they're all there. So I figure I'll make it easy for you, so you could scope out exactly what is it that we're speaking about. Verse 5, no man will stand up to you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so will I be with you. I will not release you, nor will I forsake you. So the Most High God is reassuring Joshua that he will be with him, just like he was with Moses. And he told him that no man will stand up to you all the days of your life, meaning that he will not have any opposition all the days of his life as he stands here in the position of leadership and rulership. And now, the Most High God is exalting Joshua in the sight of the people, and making the people understand that Joshua is the man in charge now. Verse 6. Be strong and courageous, for it is you who will cause this people to inherit the land that I have sworn to their fathers to give them. So now he's reinforcing Joshua. He's giving them that confidence. He's telling them, listen, this is not a soft people. So you got to be courageous. Don't forget the people that we're dealing with now. We're dealing with the children of Israel. So these people are not a bunch of softies. So he's reinforcing Joshua and telling him to be strong and courageous and to keep his chin up and be resolved, because it's a tough job ahead. It's not going to be an easy job. Only be very strong and courageous. Once again, he reiterates it to be strong and courageous, because he's going to need this strength and he's going to need this courage. Because remember, we're coming from not being a nation, and now we form a nation. So now, not being a nation, forming a nation, there are a lot of things that you're going to be doing for the first time. But the blessing of all this is that the prophet Moses left the blueprint. That's why I keep reiterating, I keep saying that people look at Moses and say, well, Moses and Joshua weren't the same. Joshua was strict. He already had set, he ran the people a certain way. No, the difference is that Joshua already had the blueprint at hand that Moses handed to him. Moses was creating the blueprint, not him creating the blueprint, but he was receiving the blueprint from the Most High as he was going along. Joshua already got the completed document, so it was easier for Joshua to govern. So that's why it looked like Joshua had it all together. But, Moses is the master plan, is the master planner. And some of the sages say that that Moses was like the sun, and Joshua was like the moon. The sunlight reflects into the moon to give light. So he was a reflection of the prophet Moses, and but on a minimal scale, because we know that the sunlight is much brighter than the moonlight, and the moon needs the light from the sun to shine forth. So we know that Moses' spirit was passed down to Joshua, but yet Joshua was not on the same level as our great father Moshe. So it's just a little something that I thought that I would share with you. Behold, I have commanded you, be strong and courageous, do not fear, and do not lose resolve, for Yahweh your God is with you wherever you will go. So once again, he tells them to be courageous and to be strong and not to lose resolve, because it's easy to lose resolve when people pulling you left and right, and when things don't seem to go right. But the Most High God is always there, and when he gives you that reinforcement, he gives you that push, and he gives you that pep talk, then that's for us to take that, make ourselves strong and move forward. Life is not easy. We're going to have our bumps and bruises, our ups and downs, and that's basically what the Most High God is telling Joshua at this time. Listen, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have your bumps and bruises, but stay the course. Verse 10. Joshua then ordered the marshals of the people, saying, circulate in the midst of the camp and command the people, saying, prepare provisions for yourselves, because in another 3 days you will be crossing this Jordan to come to take possession of the land of Yahweh your God is giving you to inherit it. So now Joshua is telling them, prepare your food, prepare your provisions, prepare everything, because in 3 days the Most High God is going to cause us to inherit this land and take possession of it. So he wants the people to be prepared, to be sanctified, to be in the right frame of mind, to have their food ready, because it's going to be a march. We're not stopping. We're going in there. We're only stopping to camp, to eat, whatever. And then in 3 days, we're going to go, boom, we're going to go and possess this land. That's by crossing the river Jordan. Verse 12. To the Reubenite, to the Gadite, and to the half-tribe of Manasseh, Joshua spoke, saying, remember the matter that Moses, servant of Yahweh, commanded you, saying, Yahweh your God gives you rest, and he will give you this land. Your wives, your children, and your cattle will settle in the land that Moses had given you across the Jordan. Then you, all the mighty warriors, will cross over armed before your brothers and help them until Yahweh gives you your brothers rest like you gives your brothers rest like you, and they too take possession of the land of Yahweh your God gives them. So now we see that Shabbat Shalom Avardia. So now we see that the Most High God is telling what for everyone that doesn't know, we're in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, in the middle of verse 15. So as we can see that says here that the Most High God spoke to the tribe of Reuben, the Gadai, and the half tribe of Manasseh, because remember they are on the other side of the Jordan. They got their inheritance. Moses gave them that as an inheritance, and he allowed them to stay in that part of the region. But the agreement was that they could not, the man of war, they could not just settle there and not come and help and fight, because the Most High just not handing us the land of Canaan. We have to go in there and actually remove people and take people out. So the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh, they made an agreement with Moses saying that, that they will go over and they will fight until the whole land was liberated and their brothers and their sisters had their portion just like they had it, and then they will return back across the Jordan and go back into their homes. So this is what's going on at this time. Joshua is bringing it up to remembrance to them, telling them, don't forget the promise that you made Moses, because you have to keep your promises. Not because Moses is not here doesn't mean that, I can move on. I don't have to keep the promise anymore because Moses is not here. I didn't make the promise with Moses. No, you made the promise with Moses, and Moses allowed it through the name of the Most High God for you and your tribes to settle this. So now you have to keep up your end of the bargain, and not because Moses is not here does not mean that you don't keep up your end of the bargain. You have to keep up your end of the bargain. Verse 16. No, the middle of 15. Then you will return to the land of your inheritance and possess it, that which Moses, servant of Yahweh, gave you across the Jordan towards the rising of the sun. So what the Most High gave you across the Jordan, meaning on the other side towards the rising of the sun. That's just saying towards the east. Towards the great river, that's towards the west, and towards the rising of the sun, that's the east. That was the way that they spoke, east, west, north, south, by locations, by places, that's the way that they spoke. So we understand that the rising of the sun is the east. Verse 16. They answered Joshua, saying, all that you have commanded us we will do, and wherever you send us we will go. As fully as we heeded Moses, so shall we heed you, provided that Yahweh your God is with you, as he was with Moses. Any man who will rebel against your utterance, or will not listen to your words, and whatever you may command him, will be put to death. Only be strong and courageous. So at this point, they showing their allegiance to Joshua. They telling him, listen, you are the leader. You are the spearhead. Whoever rebels against you, they rebelled against us. Not because we living across this river means that we don't fall under the same rule. We're under the same rule. We're under the same command. And they just, making that allegiance with Joshua and letting them know, reassuring Joshua that we fall under the same order and command as everyone else. Not because we're across the river. It means that, we're going to do what we want to do. We fall under your command. We fall under your order. And that's what that is. Sometimes, I wanted to bring history because a lot of times we don't cover history. And we lose out on the beauty of history. Growing up, I always heard history. And history was always that part of the Tanakh that connected you with Torah. You got to see, the bad of the people. You got to see the good of the people. Nonetheless, history connected you with Torah, and it made you grow. You know, when you learned history, you learned the do's and the don'ts of life. You know, along with the proverbs and everything else. So, you know, history is very essential, and that's why I wanted to start this whole thing with Joshua, because it shows us going into the land and possessing the land. And as we go along, we're going to begin to see, you know, the different things that begin to happen and the faults of the people. And as we go into the book of Judges, you will see that there's a lot of things that the people did or that the people do that wasn't right in the Most High God's sight, and it cost us very dearly in the end. Now we go verse 16. They answered Joshua. All right, so now we go to chapter 2. We're in the book of Joshua, chapter 2, verse 1. Joshua, son of Nun, dispatched 2 men, spies, from Shittim, secretly saying, go observe the land and Jericho. So they went and arrived at the house of a woman, innkeeper, whose name was Rahab, and slept there. So right here it says an innkeeper. Let me read it in Hebrew to see what it says. So it said, Wayishlach Yehoshua Ben Nun min Hashitim Shenayim Hanashim Meraglim Sekheresh Lemorleku Reu eight Haaretz we eight Jericho Wayelku Wayavou Veit Isha Zona. So it says in the English, it says an innkeeper, but here it says a zona, which is a prostitute. Right? So he sends out 2 spies to the land. He dispatches them to the land of Jericho in secrecy, you know. And you know, because he don't want this to spread. You know, this is espionage. When you doing espionage, when a nation does espionage, they don't announce it to the whole nation. They leave it to a group of people, a small group of people. If they want to do espionage, if they want to do something or carry out a plot or do certain things, you know, that's not what, you know, you don't share that with the world. You don't share that with even with your own people. So at this point, it's strategy. Joshua, being also a general, he learned strategy, and he sends out the spies in secrecy, and they naturally, you know, when men come, especially in ancient times, when men come into cities that they're not familiar with, it was a known thing that the hotels and the lodging places were places where you could readily find, or were ran like brothels, or were places where if they weren't brothels, there were places where prostitutes frequented, you know. And even like when you go to certain places like Atlantic City, or if you happen to go to Vegas or places like that, you know, and you're like in the casino, and the hotel is upstairs. Like, it's nothing. Oh, you know, like they're always like the ladies of the night are there, you know. So, you know, it wouldn't seem strange for 2 men to come in, strangers from another land to come, and then go into the boarding place where the prostitutes were at. It was more of the thing that was expected, and they were doing that to throw everybody off, just to make everybody think that they were on a journey. But as you're gonna see, that the people are gonna, you know, our reputation precedes us. So people already heard what happened to who was it? Shion, king of the Amorites, and Og, king of Bashan. They heard about all the stuff that happened with Midian and all of the, meaning everything that the Most High did to the Egyptians. our reputation precedes us. So they could clearly tell that we are Israelites. Those two spies are Israelites, and they come in there, and they already seen the destruction that the Most High God caused for us or did for us previously. So now, naturally people are going to be nervous because they said they right at the doorstep. We could see them lined up right across that Jordan, and now we talking about they sending people in here. Why they need to send people in here? So they plans as spies didn't work out too great because obviously the people on the other side figured out what was going on. But man could propose things, but God disposed of them. So I hope that y'all with me. I hope that I'm making sense, and I hope that you're following me. It's very important. If you have a question or something, you could just ask. But now it says, Joshua son of Nun dispatched 2 men spies. We read that part. Verse 2. It was told to the king of Jericho, saying, Behold, men have come here this night from the children of Israel to spy out the land. So they already knew what was going on. It wasn't a secret. It wasn't a secret what was going on, on the other side of the Jordan, all the things that transpired. And at this point, somebody came to the king of Jericho and said, look, they came to spy out the land. We know what's going on. They knew what was going on. And, the ironic thing about it is that they knew that what was going on, and they still could not prepare themselves against what was going to happen to them. Why? Because the Most High God is involved in everything. And when the Most High God is involved in it, then you can't stop it because it's already set in the ether, it's already set out there. And once the Most High God set it out there, it can't be reversed. So Jericho, the faith of Jericho was going to be what the Most High wanted it to be at this point. So, that's what's going on. Verse 3, the king of Jericho sent to Rahab, saying, Bring out the men who came to you, who have come to your house, for they have come to spy out the entire land. The woman had taken the 2 men and hidden them. She said, It is true, the men did come to me, but I do not know from where they were, from where they are. When the city gate was about to close, at dark the men went out. I do not know where the men went. Pursue them quickly, for you can overtake them. But she had brought them up to the roof and hidden them in the stalks of flax that had been arranged for her on the rooftop. So now, here we see a couple of things. We got Rahab, which is a harlot, a prostitute. But being a prostitute still, the first things we got to look at is, the first thing you think of is, why would the Most High cause a prostitute to help us get victory in this matter? And this is the thing that we talk about with the Most High. Said, my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways. He said, as far as the heavens is from the earth is my thoughts than yours. So we can't figure out the Most High, because we would be like, why would he use a harlot? And why, as we read on later in the history, I could drop this on you. He saves the family of the harlot, and the harlot lives happily ever after with us in the land of Israel. So we can't figure out the Most High. Rahab forever is ingrained in heads in the history of Israel, and she was a harlot. But we can't figure that out. So, only thing I could get from that is I guess every harlot is not the worst person in the world. And a lot of times when women fall into that profession, it's not because they love sleeping with men. A lot of times it's because of time and chance, not having a man, not being able to provide for their children. And it so happened that you fall into it, but it doesn't mean that they don't have any integrity or any type of common sense. The profession is rough enough and tough enough as it is, but the Most High God nevertheless used her as the tool to help to continue with the plan of overtaking this land. And like I said, later you're going to see that she integrates with the people, with Israel, and she lives with us, because she even lied to the soldiers of her people. And that could have cost her her life, you know. But she covered the men. She put them on the roof. She covered them with flack. Basically, like, maybe she had some animals and stuff up there. So with their feed, she kind of just covered them. And the men were, were were saved from her, by her, because of her quick thinking and not wanting them to be executed or killed or anything. Verse 7. But remember, the Most High God is in the plan. So, whatever it was going to be, the Most High God was in the plan regardless. Verse 7. So the men pursued them in the direction of the Jordan to the crossings, and they closed the gate soon after the pursuers had gone out after them. So the man went out on the road to go after them, because she told him that the men had left. For the sun went down. Verse 8. So they figured they could cut them off. The men of Jericho on their horses, they figured they could cut them off. Verse 8. They had not yet gone to sleep when she came up to them on the roof. She came to them on the roof, to tell them what's going on. She said to the men, I know that Yahweh has given you the land, and that fear of you has fallen upon us, and all the inhabitants of the land have dissolved because of you. For we have heard how Yahweh dried up the waters of the sea of reeds. For you, when you went forth from Egypt, and what you did to the two kings of the Amorites who were across the Jordan, to Sihon and to Og, whom you utterly destroyed. We heard, and our hearts melted. No spirit remained in any man before you, because of you. For Yahweh your God, he is God in the heavens above and on the earth below. Now I beseech you, swear to me by Yahweh, since I have done kindness with you, that you still do kindness with my father's household, and give me a trustworthy countersign, that you will keep alive my father, my mother, my brothers, my sisters, and all that is theirs, and that you will save our souls from death. So now Rahab, being a prostitute, being a harlot, understood the blessing of the Most High. And she said, we heard of all the things that your God has done. And she mentioned them by name, Yahweh. And she said, look, we heard of how you split the Red Sea. We heard about what y'all did to Sihon and to Og, to those kings. We heard about all the things, and the people here, their hearts melted because they felt like they was next. So now she wants the spies to make her a promise in the name of the Most High to save her life, the life of her mother, father, her brothers and her sisters, and everybody that's her people that she loved. Through Rahab, we're going to see the mercy of the Most High, and we're going to see the miracle of the Most High, and the strength that the Most High that he shows. And not always can we judge how the Most High does things, because he does them unconventionally. Like I said, a harlot, who would have thought it? Verse 6. So verse 14, then the man said to her, our souls will die instead of yours if you do not relate this discussion of ours. And it will be when Yahweh gives us the land that we will do kindness and trust with you. So the man told her, our souls will die instead of yours if you do not relate this discussion of ours. So they're basically telling her, look, if you don't relay the discussion, then and something happened to you, then we should die. But they're telling her basically, keep your mouth shut. Don't let anyone know. So this was a tricky thing, because Rahab couldn't even let her family know what was going on. On that day, she would just have to get them. She would have to make up some kind of story, say something to have the family there gathered together. So, but as we go along, we'll begin to see all the things that transpired, to maybe why it was easier probably to get her family together in one central place, so that when this invasion of the people came in, or when Israel came and attacked, that that her people will be safeguarded. Because although she was what she was, she still had family and she still loved them. Um, it says, verse 15, she lowered them by the rope through the window, for her house was in the wall of the fortification, and she lived in the fortification. So now you got to picture it. In those days, um, the city, the city walls had apartments in them. So basically, your apartment, or your house was part of the city walls. You understand what I'm saying? So you would have a window looking outside the city. You could see what's coming, so forth and so on. So that's how she was able to let them down from the window, so that they could go on their way. And she told him, she said to them, go to the mountain, lest the pursuers encounter you, meaning on the roadway. If you go up on the mountain, at least on the roadway, you know what I mean? The pursuers is not in the mountains. You chill, you wait there for a minute until those guys go and they come back, and then you clear to go on the road back to where, back to your land, or to where your people at. Conceal yourselves there for 3 days until the pursuers turn back, then you may continue on your way. So she's giving them wisdom. Verse 17, the man said to her, we are absolved from this oath of yours which you made us swear, unless, behold, when we come into the land, you shall tie this cord of scarlet thread in the window through which you lowered us, and your father and your mother, and your brothers and your father's entire household, you shall bring into the house. Then it shall be that anyone who leaves the doors of your house for the outside, his blood will be on his head, and we will be absolved. But regarding anyone who will be with you inside the house, his blood will be on our head, if a hand will be laid upon him. So they just specifying they just going through every detail of the contract, because back then, and most of the time, a contract was sealed with our lips. That's why the words of our mouths, the meditation of our heart, all those things are important. So now at this point, it's like, listen, the spies is telling her, everybody that's in your house, and you gotta tie this red ribbon on your window, this scarlet, this red ribbon on your window, so that when we come, and we see that, then we are responsible for whoever's in that house. But if we don't see that, then we're not responsible, because it's a problem. You know what I mean? So at this point, everyone had to follow instruction. She had to be on point with who she was telling and where she was carrying this news and how she was carrying it. But they had to keep up their ends of the bargain in order to make this thing work out. Verse 20. But if you relate this discussion of ours, we will be absolved of your oath that you have made us to swear. So they said, if you don't follow all these steps, then we should be dissolved from our oath. Like that's a deal breaker right there. That breaks the deal. So she said, as you say, so it is. She sent them forth, and they went. She tied the cord of scarlet thread in the window. So she did what she had to do. She wants to survive. Verse 22. Excuse my yawn. A bit tired, but continuing. They went and arrived at the mountain. Verse 22. Chapter 2, verse 22. They went and arrived at the mountain and stayed there 3 days until the pursuers turned back. And the pursuers searched along the entire way, but they did not find them. So she gave them a solid plan of escape. Rahab did. Two men then returned and descended from the mountain. They crossed the Jordan and came to Joshua, son of Nun, and told him all that had happened to them. They said to Joshua, Yahweh has given the land into our hands, and all the inhabitants of the land have even melted because of us. So it's seeing that when they came back, so when they returned and descended from the mountain, they crossed the Jordan and came to Joshua, son of Nun, and told him all that had happened to them. They said to Joshua, Jehovah has given the land into our hands, and all the inhabitants of the land have even melted because of us. So now, there are a couple of things that we see here. First being the contrast of this group of spies versus the initial group of spies that went to spy out the land initially. You remember that? Moses, and they brought back that false report, and it was only Joshua and Caleb, the son of Yefuneh, that came back not with that evil report, and being that they didn't come back with that report, they were blessed to come into the land. They were the only ones that were of 20 years and upward that were able to come into the land. So now the contrast that we see is that initially when we went into the land of Canaan, when Moses sent the people, they those 12 elders, they came back talking about how big the people were. They were giants, they were Nephilim, and that and we went off on God, So the most I say, yeah, y'all want to do that, then I'm gonna cut y'all off, and I'm gonna just let your children go into the land, and everything that transpired in the wilderness and so forth and so on. So at this point in history, we see that as it says here, the two spies came and they brought back good news. And the contrasting thing also is that initially 12 spies were sent. Now it was only two. 12 versus 2 is that you got less opinions, and the two that go, they're gonna you pray and hope that they're gonna bring you accurate enough information. You don't need all those people. So Joshua, he learned from Moses' mistakes. Remember, Moses was making it up as he went along. I'm sure that Moses schooled Joshua and told him, listen, this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. This is how you have to put things in order. But now Joshua, you can see, the Most High says that he will exalt him in the eyes of the people. So now he's being exalted because now his generalship and his leadership is coming into display. And when he sent the two spies, that's all he needed. He didn't need everybody. Remember, at that time, it was only two of the spies initially that brought back the righteous report. So maybe he learned from that. Said, look, since me and Caleb were the ones who went, we brought back that righteous report, we're going to send these two spies right here. Now, they didn't come back with saying the man came and they chased us, and they came and we had to spend 3 days in the mountains and wait for the men to come back in order for us to proceed and come back. We don't know about this, Joshua. Maybe you shouldn't go in there. Nah, the people weren't speaking like that. The people, the spies that went, they went and they came back with the hey, this city is ready to be taken. That's what they came back with. And that was a blessing. That was a blessing. So now, let's see here. See if I'm going to go into chapter 3. Let's see what's going on here. How's everyone feeling out there? I hope that everyone is well out there. How's everyone out there? Hope that everyone is good. That's right. Man plans, but the Most High decides. Now, let me see. I'm going to go through chapter 3 and finish that out. Give me 1 second here. We're in the book of Joshua, chapter 3, verse 1. It reads, Joshua rose early in the morning, and they journeyed from Shittim and arrived at the Jordan. he and all the children of Israel, and they lodged there before they crossed. Meaning they lodged there before they crossed. They spent a night, maybe a night there before they crossed, and they were right at the brink of the River Jordan. So the people across in the land of Canaan or the land of Israel, they could see what's going on, and they said, "Boy, this doesn't look good," because the Most High put the fear and the dread of us in them. It reads, and it was at the end of 3 days that the marshals circulated in the midst of the camp. They commanded the people, saying, "When you see the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, your God, and the Kohanim, the Levites, carrying it, then you shall move from your place and follow it. But there shall be a distance between yourselves and it, a measure of 2,000 cubits. Do not approach closer to it, so that you may know the way in which you should go, for you have not passed this way yesterday or before yesterday." Let me read that over again. So now the Most High God, Joshua is giving command to the people, saying that, listen, we're going to cross over this Jordan, but make sure you keep yourself at a distance from the Ark of the Covenant, a good marching distance, so that y'all don't go ahead and defile or go touch or do anything like that. A good marching distance, stay away from the Ark, And he's setting up the order in which how we're going to flow and how we're going to go into the land. It's a beautiful thing. Said Kohanim and the Levites carrying it. Hallelujah. Oh, the picture and the audio was frozen for a while. Sorry about that. I didn't know that. So here we go. But there shall be a distance between yourselves and it, a measure of 2,000 cubits. Can anybody find out today in feet how much is 2,000 cubits? And then we could come back to it. You could write it in the comments if you feel up to it. I didn't do that research. Do not approach closer to it, so that you may know the way in which you should go, for you have not passed this way yesterday or before yesterday. So also the distance is also so that the people could see like an ensign. So it's telling them, listen, give yourself a distance so that everybody could see where the Ark of the Covenant is at, and then you could follow it after you give yourself that marching distance. Shabbat shalom, Joshua. Good to see you in the room. So now you got to give yourself that marching distance. You give yourself that space. When you give yourself that space, you could see the Ark of the Covenant, and then you could follow behind it. All right? So we're in the book of Joshua, chapter 3, verse 5. It's your namesake right there, Joshua. So we in your book. We're chapter 3, verse 5. Joshua said to the people, "Prepare yourselves, for tomorrow Yahweh will do wonders in your midst." Joshua then spoke to the Kohanim, saying, "Carry the Ark of the Covenant and pass before the people." So they carried the Ark of the Covenant and went before the people. So Joshua is telling them that the Most High God is going to do wonders before you. He's going to do things that maybe you didn't see, your father seen, but now you're going to be able to see him. So Most High is going to create wonders, and it's going to show his might once again in the midst of the people, in the sight of the people. Verse 7. Yahweh said to Joshua, "This day I will begin to exalt you in the eyes of all Israel, that they may know that just as I was with Moses, so will I be with you. You shall command the Kohanim, bearers of the Ark of the Covenant, saying, when you come to the edge of the waters of the Jordan, you shall stand in the Jordan." Joshua said to the children of Israel, so now, the Most High, this is very important right now. The Most High God is telling Joshua that, listen, I'm going to exalt you in the sight of the people so that the people know that you are the one in charge. This is very important because these people are very hard people, and we're talking about how they treated Moses and how they carried on. So now this is an important moment. And now what the Most High wants him to do is to tell the priest to walk right into the Jordan. So now this is going to show, this is going to exalt Joshua, because once they step in there, then the Jordan is going to start flowing back, and dry ground is going to appear. So the same glory and majesty that Moses had in the sight of the people, now Joshua's going to have it, because he gave a command, he gave an order, and natural creation that the Most High God committed, done when perverse, went against what the Most High God allowed it to do or wanted it to do, because now the river's going to start to flow backwards. So this is, out of the normal. So now when the people see that, and they see that through Joshua's word, things happen, that it shouldn't happen for no man, then they're going to know that, hey, listen, this man is the man that the Most High God put in position. He is the leader. He is the strength. We got to follow him. So the Most High, but remember, it's the Most High God who exalted him, not man. And this is the problem a lot of times with a lot of people. When man exalts you, then that is for a moment. But when the Most High God exalts you, that's forever. So the best thing for us to do is to become servants of the Most High God. Eved. Eved. To become a slave to the Most High God. That is the best title you can have. So now, Joshua is being elevated in the sight of the people, and it's a great day, because now we begin to see hope, because why? We going into something that's ours. And not only are we going into something that's ours, the Most High is making us earn it. You know why he's making us earn this? Because you appreciate it more when you earn it. The Most High could have wiped out all the people and said, all right, y'all go in and inherit. Why would he do it that way? No. Get your bumps and bruises and earn it. So it is with everything in life. Earn it. Get your bumps and bruises, but earn. Whatever it is, earn. It said by the sweat of our brow. So we have to work hard in order to receive certain things, receive certain blessings. Verse 9. Joshua said to the children of Israel, come here and hear the words of Jehovah, your God. Joshua said, through this you will know that the living God is in your midst, and he will surely drive away from before you the Canaanite and the Hittite and the Havite and the Perizzite and the Girgashite and the Amorite and the Jebusite. Behold, the ark of the covenant of the master of all the earth is passing before you in the Jordan. Now take for yourselves 12 men from the tribes of Israel, 1 man for each tribe. It shall happen just as the soles of the feet of the Kohanim, the bearers of the ark of Jehovah, master of the entire earth, rest in the waters of the Jordan, then waters of the Jordan will be cut off, and the waters that descend from upstream, and they will stand as one column. So he's telling them what's going to transpire and what's going to happen. They're going to go in to inherit the land that was promised. The land of, it says right here, from before you the Canaan, that the most of the land that the Canaanite inherit, the Hittite, the Havite, the Perizzite, the Girgashite, and the Amorite, and the Jebusite. So all that's ours now. Approximately 1.5 feet is what? A cubit? 1.5 feet is 1 cubit. So now it says, so he begins to explain how once they go into the Jordan, that what's going to happen, that the waters is going to begin to roll back. Verse 14, it happened when the people moved from their tents to cross the Jordan, and the Kohanim, the bearers of the ark of the covenant, were in the front of the people. When the bearers of the ark arrived at the Jordan, and the feet of the Kohanim, the bearers of the ark, were immersed in the edge of the water, and the Jordan was overflowing all its banks all the days of the harvest season, So now remember, this is like the beginning of months. This is in Abib when this is all happening. So the harvest season, I believe, is talking about the barley harvest. It's talking about that time. It said when the waters of the river overflow, so that it could go into mainland, so that the people could they have their irrigation systems and stuff like that. So it's giving a specific time. This is around the barley harvest when we going in. At the beginning of the year, like a fresh beginning, the Most High is causing us to go into the land. It said, verse 15. When the bearers of the ark arrived at the Jordan, and the feet of the Kohanim, the bearers of the ark, were immersed in the edge of the water, and the Jordan was overflowing all its banks all the days of the harvest season, the waters descending from upstream stood still, and they rose up in one column, very far from Adam, the city that is near Zeratan, and the water that descended to the sea of the plain. The Dead Sea ceased and was cut off. So the people, once again, the miracle that the Most High created, that he allowed them to walk on dry ground. The Most High God is always there with us, and he always makes a way. This is what we learn from these lessons. It says, from verse 17, and the people crossed opposite Jericho. So the people went and crossed opposite Jericho, and they were there. It says, the waters descended from upstream stood still. They rose up in one column, very far from Adam, the city that is near Zeratan. And the water that descended to the sea of the plain, the Dead Sea ceased and was cut off. So all that was cut off. And the people crossed opposite Jericho. The Kohanim, the bearers of the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, stood firmly on dry land in the middle of the Jordan, all Israel crossing on dry land until the entire nation finished crossing the Jordan. Hallelujah. So our fathers, once again, the new generation, they walked on dry ground so they could go through the same experience that our forefathers went about during the time when the Sea of Reeds was split, when we exited from Egypt. So we see here several things. You see that the Most High God is telling Joshua off the bat to be courageous, and he tells him this about 3 or 4 times within that chapter, because the Most High God knows his people, and he knows what we're capable of. We're capable of destroying men that are men that are dedicated to do the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, but people pulling from left to right, right to left, all those things. So, but we also learned that God exalts man, not man exalts himself, but that the Most High God exalts man, and the Most High God will put you in a position to be able to succeed, if we serve him and keep him, and keep his law, statutes, and commandments. We learned quite a few things, and it's great that we could all come to forums like this and call upon the name of this great king, and even build. Like I said, in the near future, I'm going to have my brother Chief Benjamin to join in. I already got him to make some commitments now that the days are getting shorter, and also hopefully I could get Nasik Zerishadad to join in also, and we could just have an open panel discussion about different things. So thanking the Most High God for this day. No one had any questions, so I guess that's great. Hoping and praying that the Most High God be with you all, that he guide, shield, and protect you, that he be with you in all your endeavors, and that the Most High God continue to bless us all. Hallelujah, hallelujah. May the Most High God be with you all. May the Most High God bless you. And may the Most High God keep you. And may the Most High God continue to grant us with the endeavors of our minds that we desire in righteousness. Hallelujah. Yah.